Guys, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shaka and welcome to the Millionaire Hippie podcast. I'm so grateful that you guys are listening and downloading my episodes. I hope that you guys are enjoying them, and more than that you guys are learning from them, hopefully. In this video, or in this podcast, I wanted to share with you guys something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, especially after I watched a video by Phoebe Buffay, actually the lady who played Phoebe in Friends. And she said something to the line of that your 20s are a time of crossroads for you. So, you're going to be dealing with a lot of choices. There's a lot that's going to come at you, and you're going to take either one path, one road, or the other. And there's going to be many of these crossroads that are going to hit you in your 20s. And I actually started thinking about it because for me, I realized, and I realized looking at other people in my life as well, that I don't think 20s are only the path, only the time that you have crossroads in your life. I feel like every moment of every day, of every year, of every lifetime, you're always dealing with crossroads. We call them choices, and one choice supposedly is better than the other. One path is supposedly better than the other, and we're told that if we make the wrong choice or we take the wrong path, then we're going to be miserable and unsuccessful for the rest of our life. Whereas if we take the right path and we choose the right way, then we're going to be successful, we're going to have millions of dollars, and we're going to live that life that everyone dreams of. The more I grow up and the wiser I become, if that is even the case, I realize that not only is that idiom or that myth false, but also that there's never an end to the choices that are given to us. We're going to be making choices. We're going to be at crossroads for an entirety of our lifetime. No matter what happens, no matter how much we grow up, no matter what we get out of our lives, how much success or how much failure, no matter what happens, we're always going to be dealing with crossroads. Even in your 60s, even in your 80s, even at your deathbed, you're going to be dealing with a choice. How am I going to die? Am I going to be wise about it? Am I going to be decent about it? Am I going to be happy about it? Or am I going to be miserable about it? Am I going to cry about it? Am I going to say goodbye to everyone? Or am I going to tell everyone how much I hate them? Or things like that, Every moment in every single lifetime, in every day, we have choices that we have to make. And these are crossroads according to Phoebe Buffay. But I like to think of them as choices, as beautiful choices, where there is no wrong and there is no right. The reason I really want to clarify this is because I'm realizing more and more. The more I grow up, the more I live, the more I realize that there are no wrong choices. There really are no wrong choices, because if you think about it this way, if you look back in hindsight, first of all, you'll realize that every choice that you made was right for you because it taught you something, because it moved you forward, because it made you meet someone that you wouldn't have met otherwise, because you went to a place that you wouldn't have gone to otherwise, because you had a conversation perhaps that you wouldn't have had otherwise. So every choice you make, every crossroad that you're at, both of those paths are correct, are the right path. There's only the choice that you're going to make. It's the web, right? The web of life. We're going to make choices, and according to those choices, we're going to move ahead on this web of life. But it doesn't mean that one path is better than the other path. It does not mean that one path is wronger, not a real word, than the other path, right? They're all going in the right direction. They're all going to the same place. And where is that? To more learning and more growth. That's the only place that we're all going towards. We're not going towards enlightenment specifically, if you think about it, because there's no point where you can just say, okay, now I'm enlightened. I've done everything that I need to do. I've learned everything I need to do. I'm there, and I have nothing else to worry about, right? So we're always on this path of learning and growing and becoming more of that best version of ourselves as much as possible. If you want to call it enlightened soul, that might be the case. But we're always trying to move towards that best version of ourselves. Every choice that we make, every path that we take, every crossroads that we decide we're going to move this way rather than another way, we're moving closer to this best version of ourselves, right? And so there is no wrong way to go about it. that's one of the things that I wish someone had told me when I was in my teens or when I was in my 20s, when I was making a lot of choices, where I was taking a lot of crossroads and deciding which path should I take. I wish someone had just sat me down and said, okay, boom, shaka, there are no wrong paths. You can take this path and it'll get you to where you need to get to, or you can take that path and that will also get you to where you need to get to. There are no wrong paths. There are only choices. You can make this choice or you can make that choice, right? Either choice, whatever choice you make, will teach you something, will help you grow, and will help you move you forward. The only wrong choice, if you want to call it, is the choice of doing nothing. It's the choice of sitting back, holding back, and not taking a choice, not making the path, not going forward on the path, whatever your choice might be. A lot of people do that with their lives. They don't make a choice. Either they allow other people to make choices for them, or they kind of just follow whatever trend is around in their vicinity, or if their friends are doing something, they'll just do exactly the same thing. They're not making a conscious choice. They're letting their life guide them as it happens. That might be the wrong way to do things. Perhaps it's the right way as well for them specifically. Who knows? Maybe it'll teach them something. But for me specifically, I've found that making a conscious choice, making a deliberate, conscious choice, saying that, okay, I'm going to take this path rather than this path, it teaches me a lot about myself. It teaches me, okay, so what's important to me? If I take a path that is going towards my creative goals and my creative projects rather than going towards family and marriage and all of that, then it teaches me something about myself. What's important to me? My creativity is more important to me than having a family or having kids. That's a really, really important choice because it taught me a lot about myself. It teaches me over and over and over again as I keep on making the same choice over and over and over again. It's really important that you guys learn this idiom or this lesson as soon as possible, especially if you are in your teens, if you are in your 20s, if you could just realize that there are no wrong choices that you're going to be making. There are no wrong choices. When I was in my teens and I was in 12th grade and we were living in Dubai, I had to choose a university. And by accident, I found York University in Toronto. We were going to move to Canada, so I had to choose a university in Toronto. And I chose York. It was just a choice I made. It was the only university I really knew about and it seemed nice and it seemed like the right choice. And I came to Toronto and I realized, and I spoke to other people, that York University was not considered one of the best universities in Toronto because it was a newer university. It was not as old as the others. A University of Toronto, which was another one, which was downtown Toronto, was a better choice according to a lot of people. Perhaps that was a better choice for some other people, but for me, in that moment in time, York was the right choice because it meant that we ended up living in a place where there was a lot of multiculturalism. We ended up living in a place where I met a lot of different kinds of people. I learned a lot about Toronto in its essence. I wasn't living in the whitewashed places where I would have otherwise. I learned a lot about, how to be around different colored people, which I had never been around before. I'd only hung out with Indian people before. And so it was a really, really interesting experience. And I wouldn't have had that experience had I gone to University of Toronto, because at that point in time, it wasn't as multicultural as the place I ended up living in, right? Again, that's just one part of it. There was 100 other things I learned, 100 other things that happened because I went to York University rather than University of Toronto because of the choice I made. Now, neither choice was wrong. If I had ended up making University of Toronto as my choice, again, I would have had that path. I would have taken that path, and I would have learned a lot on that path as well. Because all of life is just about learning and growing, right? It's just about moving onwards and upwards, moving onto that path that you're meant to be going on, right? And so I just want you guys, especially if you're younger, if you are on those crossroads, if you are making a lot of choices, which school should I go to, which country should I live in, which person should I date or marry? There's so many choices that we're making all the time. Some of them are small, like what should I eat today? Some of them are big, like who should I get married to or how many kids should I have, right? But we're always making the right choice. As long as you're making a conscious, deliberate choice, you're making the right choice. As long as you're making the choice, you're moving forward. And as long as you're moving forward, you're going to learn from it and you're going to grow. And as I said, you're going to turn into that best version of yourself as we're supposed to. Again, I hope this makes sense to you guys. It's really, really important. I hope that I've been able to explain myself to you guys If you guys have any questions, please message me anytime. I'm here to answer all your questions as much as possible. My contact information is, my email is boomshaka@themillionairehippie.com. It is in the description below. Again, I shall see you guys in the next podcast episode. Bye for now.